So it's difficult to get references and to get information from back home when you basically flee.
Yes.
Can I give a further example explaining from Mansour? I was talking with a man, Abdullah, who is from Libya. He has escaped from Gaddafi's Libya. And I just heard yesterday that the day that he put in his asylum application to say he's here with his family and he wants to be able to stay in safety here, the day he applied for asylum in Britain, the next day his brother, who is in Libya, who is in the army in Libya, everyone has to do something in the army, he was taken from the army and put in prison to send a message to his brother who's here.
Right,
you know,
terrible.
You start saying bad things about Gaddafi and Libya and saying that it's a place to flee from. This is what we will do to your brother. You know, and this is many, many things, and this is why Mansour says people are not going to, in the countries where people are fleeing, and they're often war and persecution, they're not all going to put their hands up and say, oh, I know Mansour, he was treated badly. Because they'll think, well, this might happen to me too. So the evidence is very, very difficult to find.
Maybe it should be made more clear as well. I don't think, like in general, the media maybe focuses more on figures, should I say, and like you say, this swamping thing. Whereas it's the fact that these people, like yourself, Mansour, are fleeing like horrific situations, and maybe that's not being made clear as well, like the actual dangers that are involved here.
Can I say about the media? Media is not bad as, I mean, as a media person, I am saying there are only some few people, but obviously they are writing what people are saying them to write. If people don't accept it, they will not write that thing. So it is a burden on the society as well to accept that media which is good for them. So it is not that bad. I mean, media is helping, even media is helping many cases, and even they are helping asylum seekers.
I think especially the local media.
Yeah.
And this is because when you hear stories about asylum seekers, they're not people. It's like, but when it is Mansour, it is a real person.
Sure.
And to give some examples, we've had very good media coverage, say in Tameside, for Innocent. They know, in the local community, know he is a very good man, and he's done much volunteering and helping, and they run on in their paper a campaign to help him. The same in Bolton with the Sekula family who are from Congo.
Yeah.
The local paper has backed their campaign, and some even we have had people who are on the local papers who speak at the support meetings.
Sure.
But when it comes to the big papers, especially the print, you know, the Sun, the Star, the Express, the Mail, they have a political agenda. They don't care about human beings. For them, it is back to what we talked about before. It is about a message that they want to get out in the country, and that comes before the real people, the real human beings.
Which is unfortunate. I'm thinking about the government then. Do you think that, Tony, if I can ask you, do you think the government is aware of how many asylum seekers are destitute in the UK?
Well, yes, they've got the figures because it's the government who've made people destitute. You know, asylum seekers are totally taken out of, you know, any benefit system. That came in 1999. They're not allowed to get support from social services except for unaccompanied minors. That's asylum seekers under 18. And they have their own support system, which is called NAS, National Asylum Support Service.
Right.
So there's a special system for asylum seekers, and when that support stops, the person is made destitute. So the government is totally aware of the numbers. They have targets to try and increase the numbers of people removed faster than the numbers of people arriving.
Right.
And they've actually achieved that target. That was a target that Tony Blair has made and which has been achieved. So they are removing people faster than people have arrived. And the numbers of asylum seekers actually have reduced quite dramatically in the last couple of years.
If I can ask you all then, what do you think, first of all, Mark, what do you think can be done to help resolve this situation?
Generally, the climate from ordinary people is getting better. There is at the moment no sign of a political change by our government or most of the opposition parties. But, you know, things can change, and we're very, very hopeful, those of us who work with asylum seekers and campaign for better treatment for them, we're not going to stop because they are brothers and sisters. And just to make it a personal thing, you know, my relatives, some of them fled from Germany from Nazi persecution, and some did get here. They weren't made welcome here. It wasn't easy to come, but those that did have settled and have made big contributions to building the city of Manchester and also, you know, Britain. And many people have a history from Ireland, from Scotland, from elsewhere, from the Caribbean, and they know that these people need help. We need to change the government's policies. That will be necessary. But the movement to get better treatment is continuing, and yes. We're very determined to carry on and make sure that they are welcomed here.
Great. Tony, do you agree with that? Government policies to be changed?
I do. I think one of the big changes which I would advocate is for an independent review body, so that when asylum seekers come to this country and claim asylum, they're not claiming asylum to the British Home Office, but to an independent person. The definition of an asylum seeker is in the 1951 Convention. All they have to do is prove that. And because they haven't got those evidences we were talking about before, and it's based a lot on credibility, whether you can believe somebody, I believe that there should be an independent group which assesses somebody's asylum. Yeah, I don't think it's an incentive for people to come to this country because they're going to get the right to work. I think it's a right that everybody should have, and I think it's a real waste of resources. You know, it's a shame that we have doctors, we have teachers, we have many skilled people who are not allowed to work and maybe doing voluntary work, but are not allowed.
So really to take advantage of all the skills that we would have at our disposal.
Definitely, yes.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. My thanks to Mark Krantz, Tony Openshaw and Mansour Hassan. Join us again next time when we will once again be fighting for the facts in another edition of Gloves Off.